So, generational wealth, more recessive rhetoric, coming right up. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Common Sense Logic Reason. And as always, I want to say thank y'all for joining me today. So, generational wealth is an example of end result thinking. And end result thinking basically is a process of black folks finding any end result in society in which black folks are not equal to or lagging behind white people on something. Any area in society where black people are not on par with white folks, they assume it's because of racism. Of course, they never do any research into how we actually got there. They just focus on the fact that they were there. Anyway, the concept of generational wealth is based on this idea that, a past generation of white folks gained this wealth and then they passed this wealth down to their lineage. And supposedly because black folks were being held back, we weren't able to gain wealth to hand down to our children, our lineage, and therefore that's an advantage to white people in America. Okay, now there's 4 reasons why this concept is utter nonsense. Now the first being that, this concept that other people's wealth is stopping you. That's not true at all. There's nothing about anyone else's wealth out here that means that another person, regardless of their skin color, can't go out and earn wealth to themselves. Anybody can go out here and do and achieve whatever it is that they want, providing that they're willing to go out there and do what it takes to basically produce to earn that wealth. Any person with that, regardless of your background, can be a millionaire if you just go out there and do what it takes to be a millionaire. Go out and research, how do I become a millionaire, ways I can do it, and replicate what other people has done. Anyone can do this in the United States of America in today's age. So there's nobody who can say I can't do something because the system is holding me back. Now the second reason why this concept of generational wealth is nonsense is, if you do your research, you'll find that something like 80% of all the wealth that was earned today, it was earned by the first generation. So it was the first generation that actually earned the wealth, which means that 20% of the wealth today was handed down. So if 80% of all wealth earned today is in the hand of the first generation of people who earn it, then anybody can go out there and earn it well. So this concept of all of these people, all these white folks just handing down all of this wealth to their past lineage or their future lineage doesn't make any sense, considering the fact that most of the wealth is owned in the hands of the first generation that actually earned it. So anyone can go out there and be that first generation. Which brings us to point number 3. One generation has to be the first generation to earn the money. I don't care who you are, where you are right now. If you're sitting there looking at this video, you can go out there and be the first person in your generation to earn wealth at any given point, any given time. Whether it be through you start or open up a chain of businesses, right? Or you get in the stock market, invest. You don't even have to go to school for that financing anymore to get in the stock market now. So anybody can earn wealth. If you want to have generational wealth and you want to leave wealth for your lineage, then go out there and earn generational wealth. No one's stopping you. Not at all. Now the 4th reason and the last reason why this generational wealth concept is foolishness is this idea, the concept of the lineage mismanaging the wealth. This is something that is actually prevalent. There's a high rate of the lineage who basically inherit the wealth losing it. We have the concept of the trust fund baby. These are people who go out and earn millions of dollars and they leave trust fund to their children. And they leave them the money in a trust fund, and it's in this fund until they become of age and they can have access to it. The problem is they leave them the wealth, but they don't leave them in the knowledge of what to do with wealth. And those kids get their hands on it and they just blow it. This is something that's actually, the concept of the trust fund baby is something that's actually real and is really prevalent in society. Again, it's not something that people are just making up. Then you have the dilution of the money. You know, if you have someone who goes out and earn a lot of wealth, and that person says is a billionaire and has, say, 3 or 4 children. Well, the children will inherit money, so that money gets split up between 3 or 4 children. Then they go out and have families, and then that money gets split up between their lineage and so on and so forth. Eventually that money is going to get diluted, and it's not going to be as same in all these different people as in the lineage anymore. Now, a perfect example of this would be the Rockefeller family. You know, the Rockefeller fortune started with J.D. Rockefeller, and this was like in the, I would say, mid to late 1800s, when John D. Rockefeller built his mass fortune. And I believe it started with opium trade, and which led to oil, and he was one of the richest men on the earth. Well, if you do your research today, the lineage of the people of the Rockefellers today has nowhere near the wealth and the influence that he had. First of all, as I say, the money gets diluted because it splits up between family members, multiple family members over 2 or 3 generations. And then the people who have it, they just mismanage a lot of money. So although the Rockefeller family is not hurting for money, the lineage, but they're nowhere near as influential and powerful as John D. Rockefeller was, because he was the one who earned it, who went out and had the insight how to earn his money, even though some people say it was ill-gotten. Started off with opium trade, but he still went out there and he earned the money. And his lineage today, who basically were not taught how to maintain it, they've lost a lot of it. So again, this whole concept of generational wealth is just BS, and it's just another excuse that black folks use to cry about the white man, to cry about being, racism here and being disenfranchised and so on and so forth. It's all nonsense. So the next time you hear any black person cry about generational wealth, well, now you know, and knowing is half the battle. And as always, y'all, until next time.